To Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Uh-oh, somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. Yes, yes, yes! What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants, this very special Super Bowl hangover edition for everybody out there. So come cure your hangovers, your Super Bowl hangovers, especially you 49ers fans. I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for the Niners myself. I was at a Super Bowl party with a bunch of Niners fans. And there were some Swifties there too, who were just rooting for the Chiefs because of Taylor Swift. It was a good time. The best part about it, though, besides the game being pretty good, the food, man. Ooh, the food. We're talking sausages, tri-tip, Frito boats, those little smokies and the barbecue sauce. I probably had like 14 of them. A reason why my acid reflux was going off the charts this morning when I woke up. It was crazy. The food was amazing. The party was fun. The game was great. A lot to dive into. That is 100% for sure. Betting-wise, I did pretty decent. To be honest, all my unders hit, but my overs not so much. This seemed to be like the kind of the game in general. However, I made a lot of money on Usher. He played some of my plus 100 songs that I got bonus value back for. He didn't open with OMG, but I got the Ludacris prop. I got the obviously the Alicia Keys was the very easy one, easy money, and of course, enough with the tails never fails. It was heads. It was always heads, and Reba McEntire just going over the 90.5-second mark. So even though the game didn't pay out as well, by the way, the total under by a half too. I was sweating that out in overtime a little bit, and I was, wait, if they score a touchdown here, they don't kick a field goal, so therefore it's going to hit the under. And I hit as well. So I did pretty well. Plus money yesterday. I didn't hit any squares. That sucks. I was a big square winner last year, but not this year. Can't win them all every year. Plus, those things are completely and utterly just pure luck. But we have a good show tonight. A great show, if you will. So again, cure your food and drinking hangover with us tonight. Because joining me, always, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Rant on the Street with Thomas Stevens will be joining as well. Will be 5 questions that were asked over this last week. I heard there's a UFC question. I'm excited about that. We had a pretty good UFC card coming up this next weekend as well. After that, our boy, our friend of the show, Matthew Selz. That's right, Matt Selz is coming on. That must mean one thing and one thing only. It means the Daytona 500 of the NASCAR season is underway. This next weekend, you go from the Super Bowl to the Super Bowl NASCAR, baby. The Daytona 500. We'll talk to him about that, what he did yesterday for the game. I want to know what Heavy T did yesterday for the game, what Thomas did, what they ate, how they felt. We're going to dive into it all here on Monday Night Rants. And, of course, feel free in the chat to just send anything you want. A question, a statement. You don't like the way that my glasses look. Don't care. Put it in the chat. I'll respond. Let's have a lot of fun. Next week, by the way, we have the All-Star game. The NBA All-Star game is this weekend, too. We got the NBA All-Star game, the Daytona 500, a slam dunk competition, all that good stuff. Man, see, it's still a good weekend. It's still a good weekend for sports. We got basketball now. Probably be on full display here. Over the next few weeks as we get closer to March Madness as well. We'll have the, NFL draft. By the way, I will have my mock draft up. I just finished it today after the final of the Super Bowl, so I know who won, so I know who goes last. I did finish my first version. I'll be posting that on MondayNightRants.com. By the way, go to MondayNightRants.com for picks, Send us your questions for Rants on the Street, or just catch up on old shows. Say hello! And also, still working with Tyler Heavy T Soto and doing his inept team list. Very excited about that. But let's jump into the rant lines. The big game. Was it the best? Was it the best big game ever? Some could argue it is up there. It was a good game throughout. We're going to be kind of breaking down different aspects of this as we go forward here on the rant lines. It's a great game. The longest game in the history of the Super Big Game Bowl. That is for sure. It was by far the most intense I have seen. It was good. Exactly how I scripted it in my head. I thought the first half was going to go by quick. Both teams trying to establish the run, which they did. And then it seemed like 3 and out for Kansas City that entire first half, man. They really, and I mean really, had them just on their heels, the 49ers. And they just couldn't capitalize. The fumbles, we'll go over the stuff later, of course. But man, there was a lot that we could break down, go over strategy-wise. I thought both coaches did a pretty good job with their strategy in this game. They were very evenly matched, as I said. Very evenly matched, and it showed. It was just the mistakes from the Niners were the two biggest mistakes, I think, of the game, which we'll go over, is what cost them the game ultimately in the end. But my Jake Moody prophecy did not come true. And that is kind of sad, to be honest. But what can you do with that? So moving on here, we're going to overtime blues. We'll just go right to the overtime issue here. The fact that it came out today that none of the 49ers players, or the majority of them, did not know the new overtime rules. That's why they went for the ball first when they won the coin toss. And I was like, okay, it's an interesting strategy, Cotton. I don't know what I would have done in that situation because, was it a dumb move? I don't know. Get the ball first. They should have scored a touchdown. They almost went down the field and scored the touchdown, putting more pressure on Mahomes and the Chiefs. And when they didn't, in my head, I'm going, and we're gonna keep on going. There's no end of this. There's no tie. And Mahomes will probably go down the field and score a touchdown. They had the fourth down. They couldn't convert. And this is just another game where Shanahan just cannot hold a lead. And in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, and there's the overtime blues, the late game blues, whatever. I don't think that they were being too conservative. I mean, not blocking Jones at all on a third down was a choice, but that is what it is. And the defense played pretty well. That punt that hit the 49ers player's leg, and then Ray McLeod had to try to pick that up. That was the turning point of everything. When that happened, the Chiefs immediately got their touchdown, and then it was like, here we go. That was literally, I think, what changed the whole landscape of the entire game. And then overtime happened. We almost had 2 overtimes, which would have been absolutely insane. But ultimately, those two things, and whether they had the ball first or second, I don't think that would have mattered in this. Yes, they would, but I know, Edward, but they would have had to know what they had to do on fourth down and not kick a field goal. They'd have to go for it. Well, at the end of the day, okay, still, it's not like college. We start the 25-yard line. And both these defenses showed that they were pretty good all season long and in this game. So, therefore, I don't mind it. It's dumb that it came out today that the players had no idea what they're doing. That sucks. But ultimately, sorry, I got to send the link to our guest. They're asking me for the link. So let me do that real quick. And we'll, so professional here. Monday Night Rants. But ultimately, it was the overtime that decided the game. One other part of the game that I found interesting was this. And this has become a meme now. It's a meme all over social media. Nina Snickers. What was going on here? Well, obviously, it was the fumble with Pacheco deep into the 49ers red zone area, and Kelsey just lost his mind, actually bumping into him when he wasn't looking, almost knocking him over, which is very, very intriguing. And a lot of people are asking the same question that I asked when I saw this: is if that was any other player, if this wasn't in the Super Bowl, if this was Week 3 of the NFL season, and even AJ Brown said on social media that if he did that, he would be benched or told to go home. Would that fly? Would something like that actually fly if it wasn't the big game, if it wasn't Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, if this was a different coach in Week 3 and that happened? He almost fell to the ground. He bumped him hard, yelled at him completely. Of course, at the end of the game, they both did kind of blow it over. Travis Kelce said, "I'm going to keep it between us." And he was just telling him how much he loved him. And of course, Andy Reid joked about how he was testing Andy Reid's hip out, which is silly to begin with. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all this outburst and everything, as silly as it seems, it didn't cost him the game or anything, and no one got benched. It was just seemed a little over the top and unnecessary, if you will, from Travis Kelce. And I don't like how at the end of the game, he didn't win MVP. He had a terrible first half. He had a really good second half in overtime. But then he just happens to go up, have to be on the stage. Is it the stage only for the coaches, the owner, and the MVP of the game? Who should be Juwan Jennings, by the way. More on that later. But why is Travis Kelce up there? I don't get it. Speaking of Juwan Jennings, this game had some unexpected heroes. That's some players in this game that nobody thought would make a difference. Did you know, before this game started, that Juwan Jennings would become the second person in NFL history to throw and catch a touchdown in the same game? Only two, that's right. Nick Foles wasn't on my bingo card. Did you have Mecole Hardman catching the winning touchdown of this game to win the game for the Kansas City Chiefs? Also was not on my bingo card. By the way, Hardman was the second leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Hit that under on the Rashee Rice. Only had 39 yards on 6 receptions because, like I said, the 49ers are really good at yards after the catch, not allowing those quick little 1-yard passes, air yard passes. They just know how to stop it. But it was good to see some unexpected heroes in this game that no one would expect, just to add to the drama of it all. And ultimately, a good time and a good watch for everybody out there, really. So, shout out to the unexpected heroes of Super Bowl LVIII. But there were even more heroes in this one. The kicking game. The kickers were on display, and boy, were they. So many records were broken in this game from the kickers. First of all, Jake Moody kicked the longest field goal in Super Bowl history from 56 yards, but hold my beer. A quarter later, Harrison Butker hit a 57-yarder. That's now the new longest kick in big game history. By the way, Moody was also the first kicker to hit 2 field goals in the same game from 50 or more yards away. Butker also tied the record for most field goals made in a single Super Bowl and for the most attempted in a career with 10. The kickers. Butker could have been the MVP over Mahomes, really. And to put it even in more perspective on the kicking, that's right, there was 7 total made field goals between the two kickers. 7. And shout out to the punters, because we also saw 10 punts in this game as well. 7 field goals and 10 punts. The defense really, and I mean really, came out to play, giving the kickers their due. Can a kicker win MVP? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, though. It's never happened, never will. The MVP will be a quarterback's award for the rest of time. But there you go. Yeah, yeah. That's right. What a halftime show that was by Usher and friends. I got to live my inner 2000, show my millennialness love of TRL on MTV. I thought the halftime show was good. I didn't think it was bad. Do I think it'll be one of the most memorable ones ever? Probably not. But it was a lot of fun. Usher was looking like he had a good time. He put on roller skates and started doing couple skate mix in the middle of Allegiant Stadium. He almost fell on his ass a few times. That was fun too. But ultimately, it was a good show. Played some jams, played some bangers, if you will. Brought out friends. We all knew Lil Jon would be coming out. What is Lil Jon doing nowadays? He's coming out for his signature slogan. Yeah. Alicia Keys, we all knew that was happening. She had some sort of piano that looked like it was in Blade Runner 2049. That was cool. And then they were like really romantic. And then she said, okay, guys, I'm out. And sure enough, here comes Ludacris. Oh, and her was there. If you watch it back, her was there to do a guitar solo just so Usher could put on his skates. And the her's like, all right, I'm out. And the Usher's skating around. And here comes Ludacris. Lil Jon's out there and Usher. And I feel like I'm watching a Fast and the Furious movie. And they're wearing Tron outfits. It's great. We got to hear Lil Jon do his own song. And then I'm going, can we get Lil Jon to be the halftime show next year? Come out with shots. Lil Jon and friend, the East Side Boys. Get them all out there. It's in New Orleans, so maybe Lil Wayne could be the halftime show next year. But shout out to Usher. I thought he did a pretty fantastic job. And Reba McEntire, by the way, belted that out very nicely, the national anthem. And by the way, it was going quick because I was timing it. And as it's going, I'm going, oh, man, she's going quick. Like, they weren't kidding. She sings this thing, and I mean quick. And sure enough, it got to the end, and we're at like a minute 10. And I'm going, uh-oh, I just lost this bet. Until she said the word brave or sang the word brave for over 5 seconds. Brave. And I'm going, yes! Thank you, Reba! Thank you! So, that was a lot of fun. All right. We got to get, let me check and see if Thomas is having some troubles getting on here. But yeah, we're going to get Thomas Stevens on. We have, I got a ton of text messages from we're drafted in my Dynasty Baseball League. So I have a go there. I almost won last year, so I don't got to worry about that till the end of the first round. So that's right. But we'll get Thomas Stevens on. We'll do Rants on the Street. I want to talk to him about the NBA trade deadline. We got a good UFC fight coming up this weekend as well. 298. Volkanovski is returning to the octagon against a competitor that is kind of random, but we'll see how that all plays out in the end. So we'll talk to him about that, and we'll have a lot of fun. Coming up, we're going to have Thomas Stevens, but as we always do now here on Monday Night Rants, Thomas Stevens. But first, this.
Swimming. Oh my goodness. Okay. You be you.
Feed the snake! Feed the snake! Feed the snake! Feed the snake! Feed the snake!
That's right. That was not Happy Gilmore outtakes, my fellow ranters. That just happened over the weekend at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, a PGA Tour event where golfers were telling fans to shut up, all Shooter McGavin style, and they had a beer snake and a lot of other fun things going on there. There that looked like I thought it was just like the Barstool guys doing something, but no, that's just a lot of fun there. Better Thomas. What's going on? Did you catch any of the Waste Management Phoenix Open over the weekend?
Not with my, not in live action, but I did over Instagram and Twitter. It was all over my Twitter feed.
So they had over 500,000 people trying to be in there. Most of them drunk, as it seems. They had to stop serving alcohol, for yesterday. Like, we're not serving you guys anymore.
At a golf event too. It's so
at a golf event. Like, it literally, it was as close to Happy Gilmore as I can't even imagine that would ever have happened in real life. But here we are in 2024, and Happy Gilmore is a real thing.
Golf was more hyped than the Super Bowl yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it did say hold my beer too. How was your day yesterday? What did you do for the big game?
Nothing much. Went with family and friends, did some Super Bowl squares. Absolutely made money on Vegas and made money on the Chiefs, man. I, been saying it since the Ravens. They never should have been plus odds. And I capitalized on it. So it was a good day yesterday. I don't root for the Chiefs often. And honestly, it was kind of nice to, root for a team that's not a heart attack every week. So it was interesting.
I'll give you that. And did you eat anything delicious? Was your barbecue going?
Yeah, we did some carne asada, pollo asada, stuff like that. Yeah, little kind of Mexican feast, nachos. Yeah, no, it was good food. Good day. Had a little pool action. Always loved the pool,
The pool? Oh, wait, you live in Southern California.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
I was going to say, not here, man. Are you kidding? I was in a jacket.
Heated.
Oh, heated pool. There you go. Wait, is there a TV out there? So you're just in the pool chilling?
There is a TV out there, yes. Al's house is very nice.
Only in Southern California would you have
exactly.
a TV
nowhere else
next to a pool. Well, maybe I should go to Al's Super Bowl party next year because that sounds
you should, man.
When it's going to be, when it's going to be the Michigan Chargers, we'll be in the Super Bowl next year. The Michigan Chargers, the University of Michigan Chargers. Every notification I get is like the Chargers hired this guy from Michigan, then this guy from Michigan, so he just hired his staff.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Be a lot of fun. Are you going to the UFC event?
Oh man, I
down
wish.
in your area this weekend. You're not going.
No, man. I thought about it. I tried to get a little group together, but it's pricey.
Yeah.
So gonna have to maybe the next 4 years when they come back.
Yeah, right. It's at the pond, right? It's at the pond where the Anaheim Ducks try to play hockey every year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
they play hockey, but it's not very good.
This is by far the biggest thing they've had in 4 years.
Yeah. Yes. Since Ryan Getzlaf won a Stanley Cup,
there you go.
2003, whenever that was. That was a long time. 2007, I think. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Although that was the first Stanley Cup in California history, so shout out to the Ducks for that. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we got Rants on the Street, and then after that, I do want to talk about NBA trade deadline as well, and then maybe we'll bring a heavy tea on before Selz joins us, and we'll just have a smorgasbord of Super Bowl talk. So
for sure.
We got questions this week. By the way, we will get those up, the forum up on MondayNightRants.com, where you can go on and ask your own questions as well. And then Thomas will go like, woo, okay, let's see. That one sucks. That one's good. That one sucks. That one's good.
Filter them out.
Put those on there, and then you could have some fun with that. So let's go into Rants on the Street with Tom Stevens, air horn. All right,
number one, we're going to start in the NFL. I think everybody, has NFL questions right now. The big one surfacing. I'm glad we got this question. I don't think we've directed these two yet. But, if the Bears plan to go Caleb Williams and, take the obvious choice, where does Justin Fields end up in your eyes?
I mean, actually, it's pretty similar to the same question that we asked about Fields or in the past.
Mhm.
I don't think he goes anywhere. I don't think. I think they try to trade that from that first spot. There's a lot of willing teams who need quarterbacks way more than the Bears do. That would be willing to give up a lot for someone like Caleb Williams,
Mhm.
uh, Patriots included. Yeah, I think they traded out of that spot to keep him. But if they do say, "Nah, none of these are good," and they do have the first spot, they could still take Marvin Harrison Jr. there too, by the way.
Mhm.
Uh, but if they do end up getting him, obviously, I don't think he starts next year. They keep Fields. If they try to trade Fields, then like I just said, there's a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks. Um, and I just don't see him leaving. It's really hard for me to see Fields leaving Chicago right now, especially we got one more year. You could just see how it goes in a year. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. That makes so much sense to me. You saw how his game elevated with Moore, and now you add Harrison,
Mhm.
and it just changes the whole outcome of his game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
To me, by drafting Caleb Williams, it's almost like a start over. And I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be CJ Stroud. I hate to break it to everybody, he's not going to be CJ Stroud. I didn't even know CJ Stroud was going to be CJ Stroud. I thought he would be
Mhm.
the quarterback in his class. I was right on that, but I didn't think he'd be like all of the next Justin Herbert uh, right out of the gates. So I don't know. I don't think he goes within the division, but I mean, do you have an answer for this? I don't
I mean,
anywhere
no,
else
like
except Chicago.
I completely agree with you. I think I don't see them taking Caleb, and I actually think you're 100% right. I think Fields has one more year left on his deal, I believe, and so if Caleb Williams, comes and you keep Fields, there's no problem with that. Everybody loves competition, so either way, I still see Justin Fields staying in Chicago. If he does get traded, I'd say Seattle's interesting for me. I think Seattle doesn't have like a great pick. If they don't draft, maybe they go get Fields. The Steelers, I mean, I hate to say that the Steelers could be interesting if, Fields wants to go somewhere. But there's, I don't see that trade happening. Like going after Caleb Williams, like I'm a USC fan and Caleb Williams is legit. Don't get me wrong. He's a great quarterback, but he's still unproven, man. Like you can't do that in this league. You can't look at a guy and go, it's 100% because it's not. And you go backwards. I think you go backwards if you get
Mhm.
Caleb Williams, and
I
it's
agree.
it's a risk. It's a risk, and you got Chicago, you got the fans chanting Justin Fields' name. It's not like the fan base is pushing and pushing and pushing for Caleb Williams.
No, I think they liked what they saw, and I've already seen a
100%.
lot of people putting the Bears in as like a sleeper team next year
Mhm,
with obviously Fields
mhm.
to make the playoffs, and they
If you
showed a
add
lot of.
Marvin Harrison and you use
Oh
that
yeah,
money available for the defense, and maybe a couple
solid.
more pieces on the offensive line and stuff like that, I
Yeah,
mean, bro, you're there. It's not bad at all. Like,
yeah, I agree.
so yeah,
So
I definitely think he stays. I'm 100%. I'm in line with you for sure, as
yeah,
usual.
great minds, my friend. Great minds.
Yep. Number two, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like this question, but I did include
Oh,
it because it's a question that everyone's saying. Um, how far is Patrick Mahomes, from catching or being in the same conversation as Tom Brady?
that's all I saw all day today. I couldn't run from it if I tried.
Exactly. That's why I
Um,
had to include it.
there's so many comparison numbers on Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs, and there's one where by this time in his career he had more than Brady and Peyton Manning combined. I'm like, come on, that's not fair.
Mhm.
But uh, I he needs to win one more. To be honest, then he needs to leave the Chiefs and go to another team and win another one. Right away from Andy Reid. I think
Yeah.
that's what people forget, or what makes Brady so good
Mhm.
is like you didn't understand how good he was until he left
Mhm.
Belichick and literally within a year took a
Mhm.
team that nobody thought the Tampa Bay. And
Wild card
by
team.
the way, who did they beat in that Super Bowl, Mr. Thomas Stevens?
Chiefs. Yes, sir.
And who's the quarterback of that Chiefs team?
Him himself, Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. So, yeah, a heavy T in the chat says he got at least to win one more. I think he
Yeah.
has to win at least one more and then one with another team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm on more than one more. I think Tom Brady's the undisputed GOAT, and he will be the undisputed GOAT. I don't think anyone's ever gonna catch him. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Patrick Mahomes is, I didn't see all of Brady's early career. I'm young, I'm 22 years old, but I did see, the ending, and he whooped my team's ass every year. Every year when we tried to get there, he beat us, and 7 championships is something that I don't think it'll ever be touched. But I 100% agree with you. I think that him leaving Belichick, and, it was always, who was it, Brady or was it Belichick? Well, we know that answer now. We know who it was. I'm sorry. It's not a conversation no more. He left and he won. Mahomes is great, but he's got 3. Brady's got 7. And, whenever I tell somebody, this argument, that's why, frustrates me a little bit, is because Tom Brady beat him. Like you said, Tom Brady was 40 years old, and I understand Mahomes is, getting better and whatever it is. But 40-year-old Tom Brady, who was a wild card team that year, and the defense was good, don't get me wrong. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Tyreek Hill and Kelsey Chiefs. So I don't like this conversation. I don't think it's
Not
close,
yet.
but
It's only
you're gonna
because
hear it.
he's only 28.
That's why it's okay to have it, because what will he do by the end of his career? 100%. But I just think it's so early right now. Like 3 to 7, man. It's
imagine if he goes
difference.
to like the Washington Commanders and then wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like that would be.
then
we're
We
talking.
could have a different talk for sure.
Sorry, Washington. Don't get your hopes up, fans out there for the Commanders. I just thought Josh in the chat was talking about the Commanders would be a good spot for Justin Fields. I actually kind of agree with that.
I 100% agree with that too.
And then he's making fun of you for being a USC fan.
Hey, rightfully so, dog. It's fine, man. It's fine.
Win total for the USC Trojans in the Big Ten next year, not looking good.
Not looking good at all. It's all right. Thank God that's like our fourth favorite sport. So you can clown all you want. We'll put fifth. We'll put UFC above that one. So
yeah.
Number 3, we're gonna go to the NBA world. And I love this question because we're gonna talk about my favorite team. So was Spencer Dinwiddie a solid pickup for the Lakers?
Yeah. What was his route to get there? Didn't he get traded and then got waived and then
trade buyout, or I don't know? It could have just been bought out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know he was traded right the day before the deadline, and then he ended up being bought out and then signing for the Lakers. I mean, yeah, it's a better body than Cam Reddish.
Yeah,
for sure. He's pretty good over there for Brooklyn. He was good. Was he in Dallas before then?
He's a bucket.
Yeah. So I mean, Russell's been kind of trash. Why not get another body that can make buckets in there and just for nothing, right? Like really nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Who's an above average player in the NBA? So he's not going to have as many minutes as he's had in Brooklyn, that's for sure. But I think ultimately it's just better than what they have now. So a great pickup, and kudos to him for getting out of there and wanting to
seriously,
somewhere that could possibly, at least have a chance to make the play-in tournament. Sorry. But
you're not wrong.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's a good pickup. I don't think that's who won the trade deadline. I think the Knicks did a really good job. They got some extra bench pieces that they needed. I don't know why anyone would want to trade for Gordon Hayward in this day and age, but the PJ Washington to Dallas was an interesting one for me. I know Dallas has been hurt. I know Lively's been hurt. And he was like break his nose a couple days ago too. Yeah. Once he came back from his original injury, it's like, geez. So a good backup piece there that they need, because again, that team has no depth other than the 2 stars. So I kind of like the PJ Washington trade, although PJ Washington's always hurt as well. But yeah, that Hornets team, man, their best player now, I think, who's been hurt all year is Mark Williams. I'm not gonna lie, and he's been hurt 70% of the year. But
yeah, for sure, yeah, the other ones.
I think that was a big trade. The Raptors got did Patrick Beverly go to the Milwaukee Bucks? How many teams is that guy gonna play for?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I kind of like the move for Milwaukee. It's not a game changer, but I mean, a little locker room vibe, bring some defense into a championship mentality. Yeah. For campaign too. I mean, geez, I don't like campaign at all.
Yeah, that's nothing. So that's a good one, I guess. And then other than that, who was the Raptors traded for somebody? It wasn't, or is that where did Gordon Hayward go? I don't even remember.
The Thunder.
The Thunder. Cool. He could be hurt over there.
Dude, the Mavericks too. Honestly, I forgot to name this one, but Gafford. Well, I thought that was an interesting move
They
too.
did get
Yeah,
Gafford from the
yeah,
Wizards. I think that's a good pickup too, because they were really hurting in that front court. We said they were hurting last year in the front court, and they were, and they got Lively, and Omax Prosper, who is still in the G League. So obviously he hasn't shown his,
yeah, for
yet.
sure.
So they needed that. So those two guys will fit right in and to help Dallas out because they've been struggling a little bit too, for the most part. So pretty weak trade deadline, to be honest. The NBA.
Yeah, no moves.
It always is. The trade deadline in the NBA is kind of weak. The NFL one's a joke. It's really the MLB one that is the exciting one every year. So shout out to your Lakers. They got a little bit better and not worse.
Yeah, it's for nothing. You know what I mean? Like Spencer Dinwiddie's not coming in. It's a huge championship move. But
big game tonight. The Clippers and the Timberwolves will be right after the show is over. They're going to be tipping off. Looking forward to that. The winner takes sole possession of the number 1 seed. And then I think the Clippers have like Washington or something at home and before the All-Star break. You looking forward to the All-Star game in the NBA?
If there's, I don't know, man.
Dunk competition.
Honestly, you know what I'm looking for?
McClung is back, baby, to defend his title.
That's facts. But the 3-point contest, I like the 3-point contest, dude.
Isn't they doing a special Curry versus Sabrina ISU too?
Don't give me my opinion on that.
I watched yesterday as I was preparing for the big game, the Swifty Bowl. I was watching Caitlin Clark try to beat the record for most points, and that was kind of interesting. And they ended up losing the game. It was kind of sad, actually. I kind of felt bad.
Yeah, like 3 game wins.
And she didn't get it, so I was like, that kind of sucks. Wait,
she's a hooper though.
They finally get on Fox like when nothing else is on, and it just kind of sucked. Yeah, but she'll be back on Thursday night to try to break the record. I'm sure I'll watch it
for sure. Yeah, no, she's one of those exciting ones, man. I like watching her. 100%.
Yeah, apparently they sell out every away game too, wherever they go.
So I can see it. No, she's the Curry of college hoops right now for the women. She pulls up from half court too.
Dude, she was doing that yesterday. I was like, what the heck? No joke. And last year throughout their run and all the way to the final, she was doing the same thing. She was like, and you don't even see it coming. She goes, whoop, whoop. Nothing but net. But she had a really rough fourth quarter. So shout out to her though. She'll beat it at home on Thursday.
For sure.
All right, what's the next question we got again?
Number 4, you kind of touched on it a little bit, talking about their best player and the injuries and stuff. But this question is interesting, man. Do you think, with injuries and stuff like that, does LaMelo Ball have the same, trajectory to end up like, Lonzo Ball?
Is Lonzo Ball still playing basketball in the Pelicans?
He's on the Bulls, and he's
that's right. He's on the Bulls.
He's been on the bench.
He's on the Bulls now.
Finally,
I think
activities.
Melo's probably the most talented one
by far.
But they need to stop wearing those big baller brand shoes or whatever, because those things do nothing but cause injuries or something, because they're always hurt. Like every time LaMelo has like this run of like 10 games where he's like, man, he's triple double crazy galore, then he just gets hurt, and he's always hurt. He's really like probably one of the worse than Gordon Hayward. That's saying something. Is the same. And in the chat they're saying the same thing too. Is Lonzo is always the same too, right? And then where's the other ball end up? Isn't there a third ball that's somewhere out there?
Probably, I don't know, stealing sunglasses. Somewhere else. I don't know.
So I mean, he's really talented, a little undersized, but he's so good and just always hurt, and it's always his ankles, always his feet, always his legs, and that's not what you want in the NBA.
No, 100%.
I do think Mark Williams is their best player, but he's just always hurt as well. That team is just cursed.
For sure.
We talked about the Orlando Magic laughing that no one realizes they're an NBA team, but the Hornets are up there. And even though Detroit's having a legendary, terrible year, I think at this point, if I were to do my power rankings, the Hornets would be dead last.
Detroit's actually playing some solid basketball right now.
Yeah, they got close to the Clippers at least the other day at halftime.
Jalen Duren's legit, man. He is the real deal.
100%. They got a pretty decent team with Jaden Ivey. It's just Cunningham when healthy. It's just always unhealthy, and then after them, the bench is kind of weak. But the Hornets are in a state of huge disarray. I think the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, no, just to answer this question really quick, I think that, skill wise, it's not even close. I think LaMelo Ball, I believe he has been an all-star before. Could be fact check on that one, but I think he has been. And regardless of when healthy, he isn't. He plays at an all-star level. That Charlotte team, when they were healthy with Miles Bridges and, everything, PJ Washington, everything was going right. Terry Rozier, they weren't a bad team. They were solid. They weren't a good team, but that team falls off drastically without him, and so he's the better player. But listen, I agree with you. I think that they don't wear them no more, but those big baller brand shoes, it messed them up. When Lonzo was on the Lakers, there was an ankle injury almost every week with this guy, dude. And you're kind of seeing the same sort of injuries with LaMelo Ball. And so it's sad, honestly, because both of them have a lot of talent, man. They're both very talented players. And so it sucks, but I definitely can see it, man, because it's the same exact path as Lonzo. So it's easy to line them up 100%.
Yep, I agree with that. Sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. They're not my team, so not my problem.
Grandmama ain't there anymore. Don't care.
All right, number 5. We're getting a UFC question, man. Something that we've never got. I'm hyped about this one, dog.
Shout out.
Yes, shout out. I got my answers for this. I actually, we didn't even text, so I do want to hear yours too. But what was wrong with Joe Pyfer?
Well, I don't think anything was wrong with him. He was playing his game. He's a boxer. He's a hitter. He has a few submissions, but they're against weaker opponents, and he just has never been past round 3. And now you got main event, 5 rounds. He won the first 2 rounds, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
And then after that, it was all Hermanson each round up until the end, and that's what ultimately cost him. And the last round, he just had no energy left, and he stopped. He wasn't jabbing at all. He was just going for the big killers, and then Hermanson was just blocking him with his hands. So I think he's still a good prospect. I mean, he's still young. He's still like 28, 29.
Yeah.
And I did bet on him, and I lost. But it's just, I don't know. He seems sluggish. Like he was just waiting to just get that big hit, to knock him out. And he got it right off the bat. In the first round, he hit him square in the face. That was a hard hit that was loud. And in the Apex, when you hit someone like that, it's louder than it is because there's no crowd.
15 people in there.
I was like, wow, here we go. This is going to be the Joe Pyfer show. And it just turned it after round 2, even the end of round 2, it started going the other way. And then just never looked back really, and just couldn't. Once he went down in round 5 on the ground, I was like, he lost.
Over. Yeah, that's GG. Yeah. 100%.
How do you feel about it? I just thought he was a little sluggish and just not.
No, 100%. 100% agree. I think the biggest thing that I saw, was obviously he's never been to round 3. That was huge. Or past round 3, that was absolutely huge. Hermanson is a veteran, and he has. So those are the big differences right there. But the biggest difference that I saw was the pace. The pace in the first and second was all Pyfer push. It was push.
He stopped. He started falling back a little bit.
Yeah, and once Pyfer landed on his back foot, he had nothing. I mean, it was like he's looking for a counter, and it's always this big shot. It's not there.
There's how many of these big shots over Hermanson's head that we see?
Exactly. And
everyone.
Doing that. I mean, it's hitting. People think it's hitting, and it's not. It's hitting right here. So it was a whole right when I saw. I was 5-0, man, with the fantasy alarm lineup in DK, and I had Pyfer.
Oh no.
6-0 with Pyfer, dude. And I was watching. I'm like, yeah. Right in the third, DC said it. And once you saw Pyfer just back, and the corner's telling him, and he's coming out, he's doing the same exact thing. You knew. And then, like you said, once that takedown happened, man, which honestly, I was surprised that Pyfer didn't try to do that a little earlier in the fight when he had energy. Because Pyfer can take people down. There's a lot of single legs, stuff like that.
Yeah, but Hermans is a little bit more tough to bring down.
No, yeah, 100%. I just think, like he did it too late. He tried to do that strat in the 4th when it was like Hermanson knew everything. He was way too tired, So Pyfer, if he wants to be legit, which he can be, he's very technical. He's got the power. But if you want to be a champion, man, you got to learn 5 rounds. And it's just true. You got to learn 5 rounds if you want to be a champion. I
think he'll be back. I think he'll be fine. Real quick, because we got to move into other things here. Who do you got on 298? Do you think Volka keeps his title, or the undefeated Tapuria, 14-0, by the way, takes it from him?
I do have Volk winning. I'm a big Volk guy.
What are the odds right now? Let me see real quick.
I believe what I saw earlier was. Let me see.
I mean, Tapuria just went up quickly to get this title shot, really quick, but he's been doing a lot of damage. It is really close. It's really close. It's minus 112 to Volkanovski. Wow. So Vegas thinks it's going to be closer than that.
I think, listen, Topuria is interesting, man. Like he's interesting because he's exciting. Like he's what the UFC wants, man. Like it could happen in one hit. He's got the cardio.
He has low average fight time. He has a high knockdown average. Significant strikes. He leads every category over Volka, obviously. But takedown is where Volka's going to have to win here. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too. I'm sure we'll text. So where to find you and all that good stuff at Better Thomas.
At Better Thomas on every social media platform.
That's right.
Twitter, everything.
Yeah.
Send the questions in. More UFC.
Send the questions in, people. Thomas will not be at UFC 298, but he will be there in spirit in the same zip code.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Enjoying it in the pool, in a heated pool, watching it on television, sipping a Mai Tai with his pinky. Did I get that right?
Hell yeah. To a T.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the Super Bowl. I'm glad you won your bet.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you won your bet, even though I did not win mine. I did win all my Usher props, though, except for the first song, but still made some money there. So I'm happy.
They didn't even play. I put DJ Got Us Falling in Love.
They didn't even play it.
They didn't even play it.
No, it was the second favorite too. Crazy. I was waiting for a pit bull to come out there and get down. No,
right,
never happened. I really enjoyed the Tron suits and the roller skating. I thought that was tricky. All right, my friend. Well, we'll see you next week. Enjoy UFC. I'm sure we'll talk. I got some bets for it.
We will for sure.
I'll put, if you want to write anything too for MindRants.com, maybe some bets for the UFC fight, go ahead and send them my way and I'll publish them for you.
Cool.
We can do mine and yours. We'll post them maybe Thursday or Friday.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll text you.
All right.
My
see you
man.
next week, bud.
Later.
All right. At Better Thomas. We got Matt Selz in the waiting room. Let's bring on Heavy T, though. We got to get Heavy T on here real quick. I don't know what he's doing in the background. His camera's off. You never know what he's doing when his camera's off. It makes me nervous.
So we are in the same Dynasty Baseball League. So I have been doing research this entire time.
That's why I didn't plug you earlier. I was actually probably bring him on now, and then I can see my text that you're texting with everybody in the league, and I'm going,
just doing some quick research on the guys.
I got something for you.
Some dudes on the list.
What better person to bring on right now than Matt Selz, who is literally the
even better.
You can ask him live on the show.
Perfect.
All right,
perfect.
Matt, don't screw me. He's in the same league. Remember that. Let's bring him on here. There he is. Matt Selz, what's going on?
Oh, having a pretty good day here, obviously.
Yeah.
Chiefs,
okay.
Chiefs win.
All right, everyone. That was Matt Selz. You can catch him at.
I'm not as cold as Marshawn Lynch showing up to Vegas asking Niners fans how they're doing, though.
That's pretty good. No, I have not. But that seems like something Marshawn Lynch would do.
Casinos stalking 49ers fans asking him.
Of course, that dude is a national treasure. I love him so much.
He's an actor now, by the way.
By the way, talking about your Dynasty League, I was asked in the FA Discord multiple times, individual questions in the DMs of Discord about trades and Dynasty Leagues. And it turned out the two dudes were brothers in the same Dynasty League. They were asking me opposite sides of trade questions. I put it together when one of them was like, here's who I get, here's who they get. I was like,
okay, so Heavy T
picked. Heard about this trade. What?
That's great. That's actually hilarious.
So Heavy T, you
both
had
sides. I gave the same advice to both sides. So
that's fair. Heavy T had the fifth pick.
Yeah,
he picked. He made a pick. Walker Jenkins, outfield for Minnesota, 5 overall. Paul Skeens was already gone. Wyatt Langford was gone. Dylan Cruz was gone. And first overall was that Japanese pitcher for the Dodgers. So, or second overall. Yeah, he went second. So how'd he do? Grill him. How'd he do?
He's gonna be spectacular.
Who, the pitcher for the Dodgers?
The pitcher for the Dodgers? Or who are you asking me about? Yamamoto? Or are you asking me about?
No, I want to know the guy that Heavy T picked. Walker Jenkins.
Yeah, Walker Jenkins is going to be great. Now, you're going to have to wait a little bit because he was taken out of high school.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the Twins tend to slow roll their guys a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's clearly a need in outfield in Minnesota. Byron Buxton can't stay healthy. They don't have Michael A. Taylor there. They
Fair.
moved Nick Gordon to the Marlins the other day. So there's a need there. But that guy is spectacular. He's having a better pro debut than I thought he would coming out of high school.
There you go, Heavy T. Look at that. Getting praise for your pick. You feel better now.
We're
Don't you?
keeping the
Look at that smile on his face.
we're
Look
keeping
at
the
that
dynasty
smile.
rolling, baby. We're
Look
keeping
at
it
that
rolling.
smile. He is excited for that one.
Look,
Let me see
this
where I have him ranked in my latest.
Yeah.
while you look that
I
up,
have
I
him
am going to
16th.
say this.
I have him 16th in my latest top 400.
Let's
overall.
go. 16 out of
Of
400.
just overall prospects, not first year.
I have Paul Skeens 12th. Who else went? Wyatt Langford 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Yamamoto 5th. Dylan Cruz 4th.
I'll take 16th. That's fine.
You get
I'm cool
you
with
get a
that.
golf clap,
Yeah,
but not
that's
a Waste
cool.
Management Phoenix Open golf clap because that would be
Considering everyone I was looking at that was ahead of him on the top 100 list was already claimed by somebody else.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll take 16 is great. I'm cool with that. You know,
Yep.
this is going to be my training ground as I will eventually take over as GM of the Angels in due time. So yeah, this is the training
Already
ground.
making
This is how
better
we do it.
draft picks than they are.
Yeah,
So-
jeez, God, don't remind me. It's so sad.
Matt Selz, yesterday, how was your big game day? Did you barbecue some stuff up like you always do? Go to a party?
I was going to make chicken shawarma, and then I ran out of time. So instead of doing chicken shawarma with the chicken thighs, I made hoisin barbecue chicken in the Instapot.
Nice.
And then I made some homemade naan to go with it.
Nice. Did you have a celebratory beer after?
I had multiple hard ciders and a few shots of Kahlua because I won't do vodka anymore.
Wait, so did you play the Taylor Swift shot game? Because you were like 10 deep then. That was
I did not. I was driving, so I knew that was going to be a loser. Like,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, you'd definitely.
My wife wanted to relax, so I was DD. Still had a couple of drinks.
With multiple ciders and some shots of Kahlua.
Yeah, it's a 5-hour game, man.
That's a very Nebraska thing right there. I love it. No traffic on the way home.
Not really.
Yeah. Not in our world here in California. Heavy T, what did you eat? How was your big game day?
Kept it simple. Just had the family over at my place. Just had burgers, dogs. Real simple.
An American.
Yeah, really. The only thing I did extra is after the game, I went with a friend to the bar because she is a massive Niners fan, and I know what the Kyle Shanahan collapse feels like all too well because of that right there. So yeah, I needed someone to comfort me 7 years ago. So I'm like, it sucks when your team blows a lead in the biggest game. And ironically, both our teams lost in overtime by the same person. Thanks a lot, Kyle. You suck.
He has lost 3 double-digit Super Bowl leads now.
And a double-digit lead in the NFC title game versus the Rams. So he cannot hold a lead. And the news that came out today with Juszczyk saying, "Oh, we didn't know the overtime rules."
Multiple guys.
And on the other side, Chris Jones is like, "Yeah, we had like 2 or 3 meetings about the overtime rules specifically." That shows you the difference in coaching right there.
Yeah, they met after before and after each round of the playoffs to go over the overtime rules in Kansas City.
Look, Kyle Shanahan, great offensive genius, but he still has a ways to go.
You know what?
I think to even be where his dad was.
I got news for you. Steve Young was on the Dan Patrick show this morning. Not live, and still said he didn't blame Shanahan because he put the ball in Purdy's hands to go down, score a touchdown, and win the game and get off the field. That was this morning after the game.
So Steve Young didn't even know
the rule. After it was literally talked about.
That was the first time we've ever seen the new rule, right? It's been 2 years now, but there's been no overtime, right?
Correct.
That's the first time.
How awesome is it, by the way, that Mahomes is the reason why the new rule happened, and then he won the first game with the new rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting the ball second,
Technically,
by
it's
the way,
touchdown.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, so I will say this: some people were blaming Shanahan for taking the ball first. I don't think it really matters because you're going to have a chance anyway.
I agree.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with taking the ball first.
I think you take the ball second every time.
Mm.
Here's why. I
That
want to
extra
know what
fourth down. Yeah.
I want to know
mentality.
what I have to go get, because even if San Fran drives down, gets a touchdown, they're not going for 2. They're kicking the extra point. So
That's
now
true.
KC would know you get an extra point, you extend the game, or you go for 2 to win, right? Secondly, not only do you give Mahomes an extra down for the entire possession, you also gave Kansas City an extra chance to win. Here's why. A defensive score on the first possession ends the game.
Mm-hmm.
If KC had picked off Brock Purdy, which, by the way, they almost did on the, first or second throw of overtime,
Mm-hmm.
if they pick that off and return it, game over. If they pick it off, they get the ball. San Fran, all they got to do is score at that point. Both teams have had a possession. So you gave KC 2 shots at winning instead of just
That's
one.
I never thought about it like that. That is crazy. You are right.
You know, when you
And I know
mentioned
he
the
said
2
his
shots of
defense
winning,
is tired. All you got to do is stop them for 3 plays. Because if you flip it, that 4th and 1 that they ran, that Mahomes ran the QB sneak.
Yeah, the 4th and 2. Yeah, they would have punted it, right?
Yeah, they would have punted it and said, defense, go stop them because they're buried. They're out of field goal range. You make them go drive to field goal range. And then if you get beat, oh, well, like you played it the way you were supposed to. I would always want the ball second for you have a far better shot at winning.
I'm
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Never looked at it like
I
that.
will say this. I personally think that Brock Purdy just kind of proved last night that he's, first off, he should have never been in the MVP conversation during the season. Second, I think he's just a guy. And I guess this will be my first hot take for this upcoming season. Do not be surprised if Shanahan goes after a better quarterback in the offseason.
I mean,
Kirk Cousins?
They did it.
That's what I was thinking.
They wanted Cousins and lost out on him the last time he was a free agent. And think about it. Jimmy Garoppolo almost won the Super Bowl 4 years ago with the Niners, missed one throw that would have won him the game, and they replaced him.
Yeah.
They gave
Purdy,
up a bunch of draft capital to draft a guy they never used.
You missed a lot.
Yeah, Purdy missed 2 that I know for sure. Now, one of them I give him leeway on because Chris Jones was coming right up the middle, and that was the one that forced them to kick the field goal in overtime. But if you watch that replay, I don't know what was going on with Kansas City's safety, but Brandon Ayuk is wide open in the end zone. And the second one, which happened earlier in the game, the overthrow in the end zone, I think it was to Debo, where he probably threw it maybe a yard or 2 ahead of him, and Debo wasn't able to reach out for it. You got to hit those in the biggest game. You got to hit those.
I will say I saw stats that showed that Spags did what no other team this season has done, which is run a whole bunch of cover 0 and cover 1 against Purdy. And
there's a lot of that. Yep.
A lot of it. Like 40% of the time he ran cover 0, which nobody in the entire season ran more than like 11% of plays against him in that.
Gotta make sense because he's a younger dude, make him rush.
That I sent to a friend of mine that basically, and that was the funny thing about like the first half was they were like, oh, Purdy's all poised, right? He was 10 of 15 for 123 yards. And they said Mahomes was scattershot. He was 11 of 13 for 123 yards.
In the first,
Granted, the Chiefs did look bad in the first half. They definitely did. But I just find it funny that if you actually look at stat lines, the poised guy completed fewer passes for the exact same yardage.
There was a lot of 3 and outs and a lot of punts in that first half. I'm not going to lie, but it kind of went both ways too. Even though the 49ers scored that touchdown on a gadget play, that was surprising.
By the way, there was a few. That was,
but that was all Christian McCaffrey. That was like, it's fun that Juwan Jennings threw the ball to him, but that was after that. Once he caught it, it was all McCaffrey, right? And his speed just gained through the block.
Yeah.
If you watch the replay of that touchdown, I don't know which lineman it is, but if one of those linemen doesn't chip block the DB that's coming for, it's an immediate pick six the other way.
Yeah,
As
that throw was
pass
terrible.
full loaded. Yeah, it
That
stayed there
pass
forever.
felt like it was in the air for like
Yeah, a good minute.
long,
Yeah.
like more hang time than a Tommy Townsend punt last night, which was saying something.
I mean, to be
Exactly.
fair, throwing from one side of the field to the other is like 30, 35, 40 yards. So
Yeah, the football field's what, 47 yards wide or something?
I think it's 52.
Something
Yeah, I
like
think it's
that.
like
It's like a
52
weird.
yards.
It's a weird number. It's not.
Is
Yeah,
it the
so
same in
throwing
college and the
all the-
NFL or no?
I believe so.
They're the
Yes, it's the same for
same.
college.
They're the same width, but they change the width of the hash marks to make the field
That's what it is. Yeah.
wider or narrower.
Yeah. But yeah, throwing from one side of the field to the other, like to be fair, that is
Yeah.
probably it was
50
probably close to a 45-yard pass lateral.
Yeah,
53.3 yards. 53.3 yards.
that's interesting.
Why? Just make it 53. Why the 0.3? Doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
who knows? It's the NFL.
American numbers and stuff. That makes
Yeah,
any
the
sense.
American metric system is a beautiful.
Yeah. It is.
One other note on the game. Tony Romo's got to go. My God, that
Oh.
dude
That
sucks.
was
no.
a terrible call.
He was calm for the majority of the game. He was like, man, someone must
I'm
talk
not
to him.
talking about. I'm not talking about calmness.
The last
He
quarter,
was just.
in overtime,
He was terrible.
Yeah,
His
he
insight
sucks.
from the drop was the first fourth down inside the red zone. He's like, you got to go for it. Like, it's a Super Bowl. You got to put points up on the board. like, now, granted, I will say Shanahan, the one call that I would have gone for it for was on 3rd and 4, the play where Chris Jones, like at the end of their possession in overtime, blew
Yeah.
up the middle. If you're going to take the ball first, you have to be prepared to go for it in a goal-to-go situation.
Oh, yeah. He could
So
have gone for
run
it.
it.
Yeah.
Run it on 3rd and 4. And if you get 2 yards, you have a 4th and 2, which basically any play in your playbook would go for. And you don't need a touchdown at that point. It's 3rd and 4 from the 9. So you can easily get a first down. And
That-
take
There's the
more time
play
off
in
the clock.
regulation 2. The big play was the 3rd and 4 that if they were converted, they would have been able to run down the clock and kick the field goal without giving
Correct.
Mahomes any
Yeah,
time.
with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was a big mistake right there too, with that play call. So there was a few little, but you're right, Tony Romo.
Kyle Shanahan play calling in the Super Bowl being a factor.
I mean, in the
I'm
third quarter,
shocked.
they said in the third quarter the possessions he ran it, or I think they had 12 plays and he threw on 10 of them in the
Wow.
third quarter or something
Yeah.
to that effect. He got completely away from the guy who had 160 total yards offense in McCaffrey. But no, Romo that was easily the worst call of a game by Romo.
Yeah, he was
in
talking over the
his
entire last
career.
play, right? Like he couldn't even know what was happening because he was, and then like
Well, he
the
said
whole
something
game.
about going to a second quarter. Like, what? No, it's called double overtime, and I'm not 100% sure it exists because the Niners are already winning. What?
Yeah.
So as from what I think, the double overtime does exist because
It would just start a new quarter and the clock would just go again.
Yeah, because the Chiefs do have an opportunity. Actually, wait. Okay.
They were losing.
Yeah, now they think. Okay, yeah, I need some clarification on that. Now,
Wouldn't they have
wait.
had to kick a field goal and then let time run out to go to a double overtime?
Oh yeah, I think
that's
you're right.
technically true because it would be the
Because
same
you're
as
at
if
the
they
end of
were
the game
driving
in
to
the
the end
fourth
of the
quarter
game.
and you're losing, you don't say, "Hey, I'm going to hold it and try to score from here in overtime." Like that's not.
So I'm gonna. Okay, so nobody knows the overtime rule.
Nobody
so
knows
there's that.
Okay, yeah, now I'm confused because that would make sense.
So I'm
but
gonna have to double check that.
do they
But
get their full possession or not? Like depending on the clock, I guess. But that's
But
I mean, because the guy said they're starting a new game, but does that because then how does the second possession in overtime end it if you're starting a whole new game?
Oh, maybe we should call the Chiefs players. They seem to know the rules.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I
I'll
mean,
tell you
like
what,
to go to EPL here, right? Like you go to overtime, you play 15 minutes. Even if you score in the 15-minute period, it
That's
goes to
true.
the second 15 minutes.
That's true.
But is
Yeah.
that the case in the NFL?
Well, and they did run that play quick at the end because time was running out. So they could
Also,
have
what
let the
happened to the
clock
final
go
3
down.
seconds?
Well, they won. They didn't need
Hardman,
it.
yeah, but Hardman scored with 3 seconds on the clock. The clock stopped. when
over.
Like there was no kick.
Yeah,
there was
but
no-
They didn't need to do
they
it. They
had
had already won.
taken the lead, like they had scored more, so it's just over.
And thank God, because the
So-
under hit by a half.
I was talking. So I was talking to my friend about this when it was 22-19 and the Chiefs start with the ball, right? Like the Chiefs are going to score a touchdown to win. That's what they're going to need to do.
Mhm.
It put it 25-22, which is 47. The over-under is 47.5. I was under the impression that by rule they had to kick the extra point, but I guess that's just at the end of regulation because you don't have to do it in overtime.
Yeah, you don't.
But if they
'cause the
had
game's
to
over,
kick
but-
the extra point, like at the end of regulation, it would have put it at 26-22, which was 48.
which would have put it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
So maybe they ran that play real quick to Mecole Hardman like that because if they didn't get it, they can call a timeout and then kick the field goal to make sure it goes into a second overtime. That would make a lot of
Perhaps.
sense because they ran that
Perhaps.
quick. So quick that Tony Romo was still talking about the last play while it was happening. And squiggly on the
yeah.
freaking
So now we've come back to Tony Romo, and I was telling my dad last night. First off, I miss the days. I used to hate Pat Summerall because I thought he was boring, and as I've gotten older, I've grown more of an appreciation for him because he was by himself. Yeah, he's hella boring, but what you put Madden with him is it just worked. It's beautiful, right?
tough
So-
acted, enacted, baby.
Yeah, so missed that. And it makes me realize too how much we really took Joe Buck and Troy Aikman for granted. Because everybody, there was like a good 5-year stretch where everybody's like, Joe Buck's the worst, he sucks, blah, 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 blah. And as I've gotten older and I've matured more, I'm like, man, he was actually really good.
So
with the
I
exception of the Giants World Series run with Bumgarner. I couldn't stand him during that.
Oof.
That was pretty bad. But
yeah, I mean, Buck for the NFL isn't bad. Buck at baseball, like in the World Series,
It's
he
pretty bad.
basically hates your team.
Yeah.
Like,
especially if the Cardinals are playing. in
I
the World
will say
Series.
that Aikman, the concussions have started to show for Aikman this year.
A little bit.
He was the calls were rough on Monday night for Aikman.
I don't mind. I didn't mind Olsen. Greg Olsen, to be honest.
No, I like.
And he's
Olsen.
already gone, and now it's Tom Brady, and I'm going, oh no. So we'll see.
I will
don't-
give Tom Brady a year. Like
You think
I
so?
it might start off a little shaky, and that's okay. It's the first time.
I want
my
Belichick.
My only hope is that Fox has had Brady pretending to broadcast this season. Like
they did
take
with
it back to
Romo and in that
NASCAR.
fake booth.
like to take it back to NASCAR, when Dale Jr. joined the NBC booth, right? NBC was like, you've never been in the booth before, so let's do this. Let's get the gang together and watch all together in a, simulated booth. We're going to watch the Fox coverage of the beginning of the season because Fox has the first half of the races. NBC takes the second half of the season. So NBC got all of their guys together and watched the races on Fox and broadcast to nobody the actual races, so that by the time they took over for the second half, Dale Jr. had basically a half a season of
He's
real
good, too.
practice.
Yeah, he's great.
And then the first race, he gets the slide job call, which he's now known for, right? In his first race ever in Chicago. So hopefully Fox has been doing that with Tom Brady, that they have somebody.
I'm sure he's not going to go
working
into
through
a
it.
cold turkey and just.
But
be
I
a
do
good
feel
go,
bad for Greg Olsen. Like,
Yeah, Greg Olsen was great. I don't know, but
can we pair Olsen with Jim Nance and just kick
I'd-
Romo out?
I'd be fine with that. Also, I know they've thrown him on the ABC the CBS pre-show stuff. I really want to see JJ Watt in the booth. I think he'd do a really good job.
I liked
At
his
least you
hair.
wouldn't see
His
his
hair was
hair.
really
The
90s
hair was-
spike. If he had some
Right,
puka
yeah.
shells on there, now he'd be or some bleached
Dude,
We
Did
tips.
you
love
see
we
his
love the frosted tips, dude. We love it.
Did you see his tweet about that?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
saw
Did you
Mark-
ever wonder
Mark-
if people notice your hair? They notice.
Yeah. you know who retweeted it, which I thought was even better? Mark McGrath.
Yeah.
Of course he did. That's hilarious.
I'm Sugar Ray fame. Retweet it with like, "Yep,
man.
I see you, brother," or something like that.
Somebody said he's prepping to go to a 2002 prom after the game. Well, you're not wrong.
It was fun. No, he was good too. I enjoyed him and his spiky hair. Remember that?
Yeah.
He like when you was a kid, it was like cool to put like Elmer's glue for spikes in your hair. Like that had to be what he had in there, man. It was.
What were we doing as children? What were we doing?
Remember those giant tubs of like LA Max or LA Gear
Yes.
Yeah.
hair gel that you would buy like this, and it would just like, even if you showered, it would still just not get out. That's
Good times. Good times.
We didn't have pomade back in the day, people. We didn't even know what pomade was. We had gel.
Well, no, I had American Crew styling.
Oh, somebody had American Crew.
Somebody had big time. All right, I see how it is.
Somebody went to Super Cuts and said, "I'll take the top shelf."
I went to Hair Cuttery, man. That was what we had.
Hair cuttery.
Yeah, it's a mid-Atlantic haircut chain.
I went to the local Hispanic hair salon. That's where my mom would take us. So I would just get it done over there.
Heavy T's like, I went to the kitchen. What are you talking about?
Hey, there was sometimes. I think for a while when I was a kid, and then I think my mom screwed up one of my brother's haircuts one day, and she's like, "Yeah, we're going to the barber." Like, we're not doing this anymore.
When I was this is embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it anyways. I had the bowl cut. The
Did you
mushroom
actually put a
head.
bowl on your head?
No. But like the haircut place, I just remember like I had the bowl with the part in the middle and the thing, and the bangs and all that good stuff. I rocked it until I finally went the JJ Watt route after that with the spike and the tub of gel and all that good stuff. And then I got cool. It's cool. I don't know why that works, but it just does. The bowl cut going to spike hair kind of just made me cooler. It works like that sometimes. It just be like that sometimes, right, Heavy T?
It'd be like that sometimes.
Matt Selz, are you a Toy Story fan?
I am.
Well, we had a Toy Story trivia, an unlicensed Toy Story trivia game here on the show, and Heavy T did all right. He didn't make the cut of his own number, but I think one time we'll have to bring you on and see if you could outdo, or we do the trivia game where both of you.
I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet, but
okay. Well, you're gonna need to get on that. You got to get on Toy Story 4.
They announced the Toy Story 5, so I
yeah, and they've also had the Lightyear movie and a ton of little shorts on Disney Plus. So
I've seen the Lightyear movie.
I think I could do a Toy Story off, if you will, here on the show. But anyways, while we're all here, before we call it a good day, if you were in Australia, Heavy T, how much do you know about NASCAR?
Not a whole lot. I've tried to keep up with it, but I know like the basics. And as far as who's driving right now,
circle.
Yeah, I mean there's that. As far as who's driving right now, I know Austin Dillon's a thing, but I think Logano's still in it. I think Keselowski, Hamlin. I know for a fact Chase Elliott's still in it.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure at least one of the Busch brothers still races.
Kyle Busch is Austin Dillon's teammate.
Oh, good to know. Okay, did not know that. That's about as far as I go. Oh, actually, hold on. Is one of the juniors is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still a thing?
Yes, he is.
Is Bubba Wallace still a thing?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so I know a little bit more than that.
Bubba Wallace drives for Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's race team.
Heavy T, who won the NASCAR championship last year?
He's gonna be real upset if you know who his favorite driver is.
So it was Denny Hamlin.
No, he has never won a NASCAR championship.
Okay, good enough.
Correct. And
who was it?
He doesn't.
Ryan freaking Blaney. Come on, man. First,
okay.
they crop it. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this, Heavy T, or maybe I didn't send it to you, but he just won the NASCAR championship last year, and the Knicks posted a picture of Bubba Wallace that was at the game.
He was sitting like courtside
at the game, and it's just Bubba Wallace with like the shoulder of somebody. Well, it turned out that shoulder was Ryan Blaney, who is the NASCAR defending champion.
They just cut him out. That's hilarious.
They just showed Bubba Wallace, who made the playoffs last year, but was knocked out in the first round.
The best caption of that, because Blaney quote tweeted it and said getting cropped out is poop. And somebody commented and said, "Don't worry, the Knicks don't know what champions are."
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So now
Like,
there's
you
this
win
running
the
joke
internet.
going on of him getting cropped out of things on the internet. It's pretty funny.
So funny.
And it's all, and everyone who does it, they always at the Knicks. Like someone posted a picture of just the trophy from the winner last year, but they just photoshopped him out, so it's just the trophy there. It says at Knicks.
So good.
They're
So
having
good.
fun with it. At least they're having fun with it. But we talked
Well,
about
that
Ryan.
also,
engaged to a Hooters girl, so you know
He's
that.
engaged to a Hooters girl.
That
Gianna.
also explains why Ryan Blaney is the best odds to win the Daytona on FanDuel, at least.
He is tied with Denny Hamlin, depending on where you go. They're both very good track drivers.
Looking at it on FanDuel, Blaney's plus 900, Hamlin's plus 11.
It flips on DraftKings, but we are a FanDuel show of records, so yeah. So Hamlin is plus 900 on DraftKings, plus 1100 on FanDuel, and him and Blaney flip on in the same way. And then you have Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Byron, our boy Bubba Wallace, the bearded Bassmaster, Martin Truex Jr., and then everybody who still all have a chance because it's the Daytona 500. Yeah. Now,
where's McDowell in the odds? I haven't had a chance to.
I'm looking at him on FanDuel at plus 3,500.
Ooh.
Now,
he won 2 years ago. Yeah, he won.
I called him to win 2 years ago at plus 6,600.
You did.
I do want to check one thing.
And thanks to
there is a guy at plus 8,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's name is Jimmy Johnson. I just want to make sure that's not the Jimmy Johnson I'm thinking of, is it?
It sure is.
It's not the football coach, but it's the 7-time NASCAR champion.
Yeah.
I thought he retired. He's back.
He did. He runs a partial schedule because he and Richard Petty. He bought part of Richard Petty's race team, which is now the Legacy Motor Club.
Put some money on it, Heavy T. Put some money on it.
Plus 8,000.
Put $1.
I mean, $1. Why not?
I mean, he has the fifth longest odds.
Ricky
David Reagan
Jr. won last year.
It's David Reagan, Zane Smith, Anthony Alfredo, and BJ McLeod are the longest.
Fast Pasta's back.
Yeah,
Anthony Alfredo.
That's his nickname. Is Fast Pasta.
That's good.
That is the Jimmy Johnson.
His nickname's better than his driving, though. So.
Right, so the Daytona 500, of course, we're talking about is the start of the NASCAR season. Excited.
Yes.
Of course, Matt and myself will be doing girl versus girl this year as we did last year, but we're changing a little bit to where it's not as random as it was.
Yeah.
Like, what are you making? Oh, I'm making beef stew. What are you making? Meatloaf. This year, we're actually going to go head to head in themes. So for this one, we are doing like what Heavy T had yesterday for the Super Bowl. An American classic because it's the Daytona 500, which is the Super Bowl of NASCAR. Really, it's weird that it's the first
American race.
The first race of the year is the Great American Race. It's the first and not the last. But he will be doing hamburger sliders, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to be doing my twist on hot dogs, not just your traditional hot dogs. I have some fun I'm going to have with them as well. And each week we're
not
do
making standard sliders either. By the way.
Oh, I know. Nothing you do is standard, Matt Selz. Nothing.
No, man. May have some nice beef. May have gotten some pretty nice beef to make these.
Some Wagyu? Got some of that Wagyu?
Heck yeah, man.
They have Wagyu in Nebraska?
Heck yeah, we do.
Okay. I don't know the difference, Wagyu. By the way. It's Australian Wagyu. Nice. I don't know the difference. It all tastes the same to me.
No, man. Wagyu it's
look, man. Good. I'll be real. I'm gonna side with Matt on this one. If you don't know the difference between Wagyu, if you can't taste it, you have the taste buds of a child. Sorry, man.
It's distinctly different.
Maybe I just never get it. I just never like. Oh, I'm gonna spend an extra $10 on this Wagyu, where I could just get 90-10 ground beef and I'm fine with it. Like or
get the Wagyu. So you gotta, bro. Look, I'm gonna be real. You gotta treat yourself once in a while. Dude.
To some Wagyu.
You know what I did? When I was in Vegas last time, we went to this, I can't remember what it was called, but it was this Asian restaurant that was in the Wynn Encore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got myself some lobster sushi, little gold flake on top, dude. Treat yourself.
Whoa. An actual gold flake?
Yeah, little gold flakes on top, dude.
They put a gold flake on top so they could charge you more money so you eat it?
I mean, low key, it
Yeah.
was comped, so I didn't have to pay for it. But still,
Okay.
treat
Amazing.
yourself, my guy.
Okay. Gold covered lobster sushi, but that wasn't Wagyu. Wagyu, am I saying that right? Wagyu.
Wagyu,
It's
yeah,
Wagyu.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I did.
maybe
I've had Wagyu beef before.
try
It's good,
some
man.
Wagyu. Yeah,
It's
maybe I'll have to go to the local meat market here and say, "Excuse me, I'll
You're
take
gonna
the
want to make sure
Wagyu,
it's not
please."
American Wagyu though.
What is Wagyu? What?
It's a breed
Is-
of cow that has more fat content, so the steak is more marbled, but the fat is different.
How do you make
so,
a
like,
Wagyu cow? Did two Wagyu cows have to make a
it's a
Wagyu cow,
breed-
or
yeah, it's a breed of cow.
so it's like
you
purebred? So
Yeah,
it's like
basically.
so it's like the
So
Targaryens
the
of
most
cows.
expensive, the most expensive one you can get is A5 Japanese.
Okay. Jesus,
Which
how do you
is
know
like-
all this?
Dude, because
like
we are
steak.
connoisseurs.
I
Yeah,
like steak and it's delicious.
yeah.
Um,
We're not you over here that's surviving off chicken nuggets.
I
dude.
mean,
Hey,
I
I'm
would-
a good cook.
like Australian
Who loves
Wagyu
the
is
chicken nuggets?
perfectly acceptable, delicious. It's not like the gold standard that'd be A5, but like the A5 Wagyu goes for like $200 a pound, so it's
Jesus
not really.
Christ.
Yeah, it's expensive.
You
But
know how
can
many
get the
frozen chicken
Australian-
nuggets I can get for that?
You can get the Australian one for like $26, $27 a pound. Correct answer, by the way. Dinosaur chicken nuggets are the best ones.
Yeah, the Dino Nuggets are the best. Costco size
Yeah.
bag.
Exactly.
That's my buddy Jose in the chat saying it's
Yeah.
more than $10 difference. Okay, yeah, he's also
I
one of
mean,
us, the barbecue
I mean,
connoisseur.
if you went to your local meat market and you got a New York strip, you could probably get one of those for what, 11, $12 a pound if it's reasonable, right? Depending on if it's like on sale, where you go, whatnot.
For Wagyu.
An Australian Wagyu New York strip is gonna probably be about $27, $28 a pound.
Jesus Christ.
But
What's so
Treat
good about it?
yourself.
It just tastes better, or is it
it tastes better.
okay? Well,
Like
Do you not wanna
literally
have, like-
don't have to do anything to it. What you do is you trim off some of the fat, you put it in the hot pan, you render the fat down, and that's what you cook it in.
mm.
Oh, and some
you don't add butter at all?
You could use, if you're going to, go with Kerrygold Irish butter, because that stuff's delicious.
Okay, we're not going to
But
go on a
you don't
butter
need-
tangent.
But you don't need salt, you don't need pepper, you don't need steak seasoning, you don't need.
I don't put steak. Well, it depends on the steak. Like my filet mignon is strictly butter. That's it. I don't put anything else on.
Yeah, cook it like a filet mignon.
Yeah.
You don't put anything on Wagyu.
I do cast
You
iron pan, just like 2 minutes
Get it
aside,
hot,
and put it
render
in the
the
oven
fat
for a little
down.
bit and bring it down. Yeah.
and you
Apparently,
cook
next
it
time
for-
we're in San Diego, we need to go to Cowboy Star. They have some Wagyu stuff there. Someone in the chat. Oh, it's my buddy Jose again. Go to Cowboy
However,
Star.
I will say if you're gonna make sliders with it, you may have to add a little bit more, like add some other meat to it, because the fat content for sliders has to be higher, so it holds
I'm
together.
gonna have to
better.
start a whole new show and podcast called like Cooking with us. Monday Night Cooks. Doing Wagyu steaks over here. Matt Selz, quick. Who are your top 3 picks to win the Daytona 500? And then Heavy T will give us his.
So I'm gonna go with 3 dudes we just mentioned. One of them is your guy, Ryan Blaney, because he's
Shout out.
ridiculously good on plate tracks.
Shout to the
You
champion.
can't ever count out Denny Hamlin. He's won this race 3 times. He always seems to be finishing in the top 5. He's a contender. And we'll go with Mr. Bubba Wallace.
Bubba
Yes,
Wallace.
He's really good at plate tracks. He's won at Talladega, which doesn't necessarily
Plus
mean
2,000.
he can win at Daytona, but he is the leader of the Toyota camp at plate tracks. He
Mhm.
does do very, very well in drafting races. So I'm gonna.
We've had
There you go.
surprise
You want a
winners the
longer
last 2
shot?
years. So
You want a longer shot? Like, if you want to just sprinkle like a quarter on a guy, David Reagan's intriguing. If you want
David
to go more
Reagan?
serious, yes.
Okay.
If you want to go more serious and a little longer odds,
Isn't he a
Bucky
rally car
McDowell.
driver?
He's a former NASCAR guy who I'm pretty sure he's won the Daytona 500.
Has he?
before.
Reagan? I think you're right, actually. Yeah.
But I would go with, if you want a longer shot, McDowell's the guy.
Yeah, he won 2
He's
years
won it
ago.
before. He completes a lot of laps.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won last year barely. That's how this race goes sometimes. So there's going to be the big one. There's going to be the big crash that takes out 10 people, just like every year.
I
and
would not bet on MTJ though. By the way, if he wins, so be
Martin
it. But I'm
Truex?
not bet on. Yeah,
The bearded Bassmaster himself.
he gets snake bit at these tracks all the time.
Well, my goal is to get my boy over here, Tyler Heavy T Soto, into NASCAR this year. And this is a start. The Daytona 500.
You should watch the Netflix series.
You should also watch the Netflix series.
I did not know they had one on NASCAR, so I'll definitely have to check that out.
It's like a 6-part miniseries, but
Okay, pretty good.
It's not as good as Drive to Survive. I will say that.
Okay.
I haven't seen Drive to Survive. I need to see that.
Is Drive to Survive is that the F1 one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's really, really good. But the full speed NASCAR one, basically NASCAR was like, hey, Netflix, come film and whatever you find interesting, film it. So it wasn't done by a bunch of people who understand NASCAR. It was done by newbies coming in and filming whatever they thought was interesting. So
it's a fun ride, man. And playing DFS NASCAR is a lot of fun. Because you could be like in last place and a caution happens at the end.
Talking about Michael McDowell.
Win.
So he won, 2 years ago?
Yes.
2 years ago, Daytona 500. Okay. I was winning $0 on FanDuel in turn 4 of the last lap of the Daytona 500 until Joey Logano decided I'm going to block my teammate at the time, Brad Keselowski, and they wrecked. And Michael McDowell won, and I went from winning $0 to a literally 3/4 of a mile down the track winning $2,500.
The last lap.
Okay. First off, that's wild.
Yes.
Second, I actually do remember that ending because I remember there was some beef between the two. Like right now,
there was a lot of beef, and
Keselowski ended up leaving the team after that year, starting his own.
Well,
yeah,
joined Jack Roush, but yes,
yep.
And the owner of the Red Sox,
Liverpool.
And
Liverpool, who he cares more about right now than the Red Sox.
I would too. Heavy T, who do you got winning the Daytona 500?
I'll take a coin flip between Keselowski and Elliott. You could pick either one, and I'd be fine with it. But the two that I will for sure take, we just mentioned one of them, but I will take Logano and Busch because in order to win, sometimes you got to drive like an a-hole. They both drive like a-holes.
By the way,
he does watch NASCAR.
I do watch.
By the way, narrative. Here's a narrative for you for Kyle Busch. So, Dale Earnhardt Sr., legendary NASCAR driver, drove the number 3 Austin Dillon's car because RCR is the team he drove for, right? Took him 20 years to win his first and only Daytona 500. Kyle Busch has never won the Daytona 500. This is his 20th Daytona 500.
Oh,
and he's driving for
money
RCR.
on that right now.
So we like narratives.
Here's my.
We love narratives, and I am currently betting the deed to my parents' house. So we'll see how that works out.
Awesome. Good luck with that.
So you're either going to be awesome, or your parents are going to hate you by the end of maybe Monday because it might get delayed.
He won't be able to afford that Wagyu anymore after that. I'm taking Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is the last NASCAR person to win an actual NASCAR event, not counting the Clash. He almost came back and won from starting last place, by the way. Ryan Blaney wins.
Technically, he did not win in Phoenix. He finished second.
That's true. He did get second, but still won the championship. Heavy T, we'll explain that to you later. But
thank you. Appreciate it.
It's the first time that's ever happened, kind of like this overtime rules in the NFL this last week. So it all makes sense. Not really. But I'm taking him to win, and he gets to the playoffs after race 1. And then from there, I think he's going to be – a lot of people are literally not looking at him, and he's a champion. Literally, the Knicks didn't even post about him on their own Twitter account. They posted Bubba Wallace.
I was sitting directly next.
But I do like Blaney this year. I think he has a really good year, better than last year, which is kind of scary. But I also like William Byron this year.
Well, to be honest, it's not that hard to have a better year. I mean, I know he won the championship.
What is going on here, Matt Selz?
In terms
he had
of
a great playoff. He dominated in the
terms of-
playoffs.
In
He's the
terms of
Patrick
wins-
Mahomes of NASCAR.
Okay, whoa.
He
well,
dominated the
Hold it down.
playoffs. He
Let's tone it
dominated the
down.
playoffs. Dominated the playoffs. Dominated.
Yeah, with speed, not with finishes. There's a difference. He always
won
had
two- He won,
speed.
he won 2 races in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And should have
Okay.
won the last one, but freaking Ross Chastain was being a watermelon seed eating butthole. We'll explain that to you later too, Heavy T.
By the way, if you want to see an amazing move, Google Ross Chastain at Martinsville.
Hell yeah. I did a short on it. That's pretty funny too. When he
The
to
move
make
was
the
nuts.
championship, he was like
Is that
halfway
the
through
guy who
playoffs.
like completely scraped the wall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
passed
okay,
like
yeah,
5
no.
people all the way in. Yeah.
That
move's
was
also illegal now. Nobody can.
Yeah,
nobody
now it's
can do
illegal.
that.
That was the last.
I
that was
do
the first and
remember
last.
that was one of the rare instances where NASCAR went mega viral on Twitter
I mean, it was.
because it was absolutely insane and no one had ever seen anything like
I
it.
watched it live. I couldn't process what the hell happened.
I was watching. I was like, that is the ultimate effort move I've ever seen in the
I was
history.
like, Chastain just
And
wrecked.
the angle has to be just perfect to do that too, and just take your foot off the brake, pure gas, and just ride the ring around everybody. And it worked.
They
hit that angle
did
perfect.
studies, and most of the time you're going about 60 miles an hour through the corners at Martinsville because pretty tiny track.
Yeah, it's a
pretty
small
tight
track, yeah.
corners, right? Chastain clocked 160.
100 miles an hour more and passed like
To
10
give you an
cars.
idea, that's about what they do in the corners of Daytona.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This guy did it on a half-mile track that's flat.
Half
It was
mile
awesome.
track this flat is just bonkers insane.
That's Martin.
Like, I'm trying to I'm just literally just trying to picture a dude going 160 at the LA Coliseum just and I think
Yeah,
that's
you can call
technically that's
a
shorter. I think it's a
quarter
quarter
of
mile, yeah.
quarter mile.
But still, like it makes no
the LA
sense.
Coliseum is like racing around your high school track.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't
wider,
do that
but
very well.
That was a fun race. It sucked that they did it because of the rain. They had to move it to Saturday night, so there was nobody in the stands. It was fun though.
Yeah, the funny thing is that because of the rain, and they moved it to Saturday, it was basically free.
Yeah,
to
they made it
anybody
free.
who wanted to show
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
it was free.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
was
so
hilarious because they weren't initially going to allow people to show up to the Saturday practices. When they
That's-
announced the schedule, they had already sold tickets to the race on Sunday, and people just assumed if you got tickets for the race, you could show up all weekend. And NASCAR was like, "No, there's no. We're doing practices and whatnot on Saturday, and there's no tickets." So originally, nobody was going to be able to go, and then Twitter went in an outrage, like you sold tickets, and people, it's like a bait and switch. So the president of NASCAR got up there and was like, "Yeah, our bad. You'll be allowed to go to practice and the heats for free.
Yep.
You'll be just fine." And then they moved the whole thing for
To
free. to
I know, and
Saturday.
I had UFC on. I had that. I was like, "What is going on here?" The Clippers were playing that night. I was triple screening that thing. It was
yeah.
it was
And
that
a lot of
was
fun.
fun for
to be
content.
fair, it was the correct choice because
It was.
as someone who lives in Los Angeles, it was pouring rain for 3 straight days.
Yeah, it
So
dumped
it was
here.
100% the correct choice.
Yeah, one of our colleagues on, I think, a Thursday meeting. It was supposed to stop raining on Tuesday, and it kept raining through Thursday. I think by Thursday meeting, I got on a Thursday meeting. He's like, "Anybody got schematics for an arc? Because I fucking need one."
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I think, like, no joke, I think my lawn outside is still pretty spongy. Like, that's how much rain.
They said
I
you guys
just turned
got
off my
as
sprinklers for
much
the whole time.
rain- you got as much rain in a day as you normally get in a month this time of year. Is
Yeah,
what they,
yeah,
is
sounds
what they
about
said.
We do
Yeah.
have a little bit more rain here up in Central California, so I'm a little bit more used to it. You know, we got to water our crops that feed people somehow.
So
we don't
When
have
I saw,
Magoo
like,
cows
it
here, though.
was, I saw it was like 6 feet of snow at Tahoe.
Yeah, 6 feet of
Yeah,
snow.
and-
Up.
Like
Yeah,
the thing was
I
a
live right by
bomb cyclone
Yosemite.
in the mountains and an atmospheric river.
Yeah, they closed
Yeah.
Yosemite down completely up to Yosemite.
As they
here.
should, yeah, because Big Bear was
What are we?
a blizzard. Like,
What
it
is
was a
happening
blizzard.
right now? We're just talking about the randomest stuff. How was the weather 2 weeks ago in your neck of the woods, Heavy T?
It was-
Hey man, I
look.
get to grill. I get to grill in the snow on Friday. So
That's gonna be fun.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna do some special hot
making
dogs. They're not gonna be
sliders in the
Chicago
snow.
dogs. They're gonna be Florida dogs.
Not doing
That's right.
Dodger Dogs?
Oh, get out of here with that. That's, save that for the other show. I'm trying to keep baseball low key until I actually care. I just don't care
mean,
this
Not gonna
year.
lie,
It's like
the good
I am
news.
currently looking at which race I want to go to this year because they're not coming to Fontana because Fontana's redoing the track.
Correct.
So I know that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it currently doesn't exist. They started like it literally.
yeah, where are they going down? I know Sonoma, obviously, that's up near me. That's
They go to
I think
Vegas
they just
twice.
yeah, they're going to Vegas twice, and I think they moved Phoenix up by like a week.
They do Phoenix twice.
you'd have a blast, Heavy T. I'm not gonna lie, you would enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'm not
Like-
gonna lie. I wanted to go to Fontana last year, and I almost did, but ironically, it rained that same weekend, and in Fontana because it's at the base of the mountain, they got snow, so it was
Yes,
snowing at
it
that
did
racetrack.
snow. It did snow for the Fontana race. There was a
Yeah.
snow delay. I remember that for the Auto Club 400. There was a snow delay, which you don't normally associate.
Well, let me know
with-
which one you want to go to. Maybe I'll join you. We'll have some fun. We'll
Look, I'm
get
just saying.
Vegas
go,
is a hell of a track.
yeah, Vegas is fun.
Vegas,
yeah.
Obviously, it's also in Vegas.
So
Oh.
the only thing about
Not near
Vegas
the
and
strip, though.
Phoenix,
It's way the hell out there.
yeah, no, I've heard it's way the hell out there.
It's over by
So-
the freaking Air Force Base that's over there.
Jeez. Vegas and Phoenix are the two closest to me. However, they are both within about 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm going to visit Houston around that time, so will not be able to make those. So if I do go, it'll be when they come back around towards the end of the season. I think they're both in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah,
Yep, they're
the
both
Phoenix
out there.
race is the championship, and Vegas is, I think, this.
Oh, we should go to the. Let's go to the championship.
Vegas is, yeah, Arizona is the championship. Vegas
Yeah.
is in the round
Yeah.
of 8.
Round of 8.
Yeah, it's the second. Yeah,
Yeah,
the third
October
round.
and November. So if I go, it'll be down that road.
If you really want to go to an awesome track, Kansas, if you want to travel, is
You know what? My
phenomenal
birthday
race.
is around then, and normally I go to Vegas around my birthday, which is also the championship week. But now that they have the F1 race there, I went to Vegas last year. It wasn't as fun because it's just shit everywhere,
That's right. I remember you telling me that.
and everything
And they
was
had to redo
slower.
The manhole covers. which
Yeah,
was
everything is
hilarious.
slower. All the if you want to get an Uber, it's slower. So maybe we'll just go to Phoenix for the championship race, NASCAR for my birthday next year. Let's do it.
Might do that. Also, this is the first time I realized that Talladega is in Alabama. I thought it was in
Yeah.
the Carolinas this entire time.
Darlington is in South Carolina,
Okay, good to know.
which
Good
is
to
also
know.
an awesome track.
That is an awesome
Talladega is a fun, like, you got to go to the infield and see the Talladega creatures.
It looks cool. I did see the
I just
movie.
hear
It
Eric
looked pretty
Church.
good.
I just hear Eric Church in my head.
Yep.
Talladega.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do love that song.
That is a great dude. Eric Church. Can
Yeah,
we talk
we-
about how he may be the goat of country music song? Yeah.
I comp him to Bruce Springsteen. He is the Bruce Springsteen of country.
Of
music.
country. I can see that. I like that. He has some bangers
Also, he has
too.
a song called Springsteen, so it's easy to.
He does have a song called
I've seen
Springsteen.
him
That's
live
actually a
a
good
few
song,
times, and
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
fun.
now
we've
we've got
gotten-
Eric Church the rest of the night.
I
We
was
should
gonna say,
probably
we've
go.
gotten hella off track. Like,
I mean, we started on NASCAR, now we're off track, so that works.
Hey, that gets
But
Well,
like, no,
I
you
gotta
really
find it. I don't know
should
where
go
it
to
is.
a NASCAR race because
There you go, Ripstop.
I cannot explain the speed and sound does not translate through TV. It
Okay.
really does. I can tell you that they're at Vegas that they're driving 180 miles an hour into turn 1 until you go there and watch them turn a mile and a half in 26 seconds. You can't you can't
fathom
fathom it until you see it in person. It's like the speed of hockey gets faster when you see it.
Yeah,
in
hockey
person.
live is way better than it is watching
Oh,
on
yeah.
television. I'll give you that.
for sure.
100%.
for sure.
I
And,
went
like,
to the Long Beach Grand
the-
Prix a few years. That was fun too. But yeah, I want to go
Just
this
the
year.
thump you get in your chest when the cars drive past the Grand is just it's impressive. Also, most NASCAR tracks let you bring coolers in that you can stock full of beer.
Nice.
You just buy a seat and bring a big ass cooler and sit there and drink beer.
That sounds about right for a NASCAR race.
Because you know why? Because this is America. We rule.
Yeah.
The
I want
only
to go
track
and I want to
would
barbecue
not-
my Wagyu steak and drink my Pabst Blue Ribbon and watch them go 160 miles around a circle. So
Yeah, the
American
only
right,
track I would recommend not going to is Texas. Don't go to
but not
Texas, buddy.
American Wagyu. No,
Well-
I'm bringing the Australian one.
Which one in Texas? Because I know there's one in Fort Worth and I think there's one in Austin.
The Austin
Well,
track,
so
right?
the one in Austin no longer hosts sporting events, basically. Well,
They
oh
host gun
no,
shows.
sorry, COTA does. If you go to COTA, which is in Austin, Circuit of the Americas, which NASCAR has a race there, also F1 has a race there. That is a spectacular track.
Okay.
Texas Motor Speedway, which is in Fort Worth, don't go anywhere near that track.
I skip that race
track
on TV every year. That race is like one of the worst.
It's
there is.
atrocious. It's terrible. The track is bad.
COTA, isn't that a road course?
Yes.
It's a road course.
It
So
is
they
a
actually have to turn
purpose-built-
right, Heavy T.
It is a
Yeah.
purpose-built F1 track. Basically, the designers of COTA said, here's all of our favorite corners from every F1 circuit, and they put it into one track and plopped it down in Austin, Texas, and made a purpose-built F1 track that NASCAR rents out for a weekend.
Okay.
Has one of the
Okay.
diciest turn ones anywhere in the world.
Will that
The
be
other-
in the area of down there in
I mean,
Texas?
Houston to Austin's like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah. So there
Minimum.
is that. The other road track I remember as a kid was Watkins Glen. Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
That one's
I do-
awesome.
I do
It's
remember
in
that.
upstate New York.
And
Okay.
Sonoma, the Save Mart 200, whatever that's called.
I don't know why I thought
Toyota Save
Sonoma
Mart
was
Beach.
like middle California. That thing is above San Francisco. That thing is way out
Sonoma.
Yeah, it's up in Napa Valley.
Yeah,
there.
It also
Jeez.
used to be called
Sonoma.
Sears Point because that's what it's near.
it's about a 2.5-hour drive from me up there. So about
That's too far.
about a 6-hour drive from you, Heavy T.
Definitely more than that.
And there's nothing
If
out there
Montana comes
except
back in a couple of years, then
yeah, we'll do
it
that
should
for
be
sure.
fun because they're basically turning it into a West Coast Bristol.
And then we could go to Disneyland the next day.
So
Make a weekend out of
ironically, that Circuit of the Americas track, that race happens the weekend after I leave. So that figures. Love how scheduling never works out.
I don't know how people are still watching this, but they are.
I don't know. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know if anyone's still here, but thank you. We appreciate it.
I can see them; they're still here. Well, okay, let's call it. Let's go on our merry way here. I know I want to watch this Clippers Minnesota Timberwolves game to be the best in the West tonight. Matt Selz will do Grill vs. Grill. I'm also going to put the Grill vs. Grill video on MondayNightRants.com as well. I don't know, over to MondayNightRants.com for Grill vs. Grill if you can't find anywhere else, but I'm sure we'll be putting up on the Fancy Farm stuff as well. Matt Selz, tell everyone where to find you at the Salesman everywhere on all your favorite social media platforms, right?
Yes, I am mainly on X, I guess Twitter, whoever wants to still call it that. That's cool.
Everybody.
You can find my stuff on fantasyalarm.com, including MLB Prospects, which is what we started with
Mhm.
about an hour ago.
Fair.
NASCAR stuff is up there. So I'll have DFS previews for each race. I have betting previews for each race.
Mhm.
Tell you who to play. Do weekly MLB podcast with my boy Colby Conway. Do weekly NASCAR podcast with Dan Malin and occasionally Mr. Edward Raus.
Your boy.
Never go smoothly when he joins the pod, though.
It turns out into this last hour, pretty much.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I guess the Daytona's coming up.
Let's go.
Have betting
NASCAR
previews
season,
up.
baseball prospects. Get your Fantasy Alarm draft guide for your fantasy baseball draft needs because it is the best in the business. Come on. And they really decided to irritate me and put Juan Soto in a Yankees uniform on it this year. No, I still have picked it up, and your prospect stuff is the best. And now somebody knows that who's in my league, and they're gonna rival me when it comes to picking up the
you want
right
to hear
prospect.
something funny real quick to end the show? I'm in a 21 team. My home league is 21
Holy
teams,
shit.
and we have 35-man rosters. It's a complex league, and it's keepers with minor leaguers that you could basically keep until they come up. Well, one of my league mates, because the Fantasy Alarm Draft Guide was free last year, discovered my prospect list last year and sent out a league-wide email going, "Hey, are you the Matt Selz that wrote this?" And I was like, "Yes."
They didn't kick you out,
my
did they?
entire league had my updated top 400 prospect list leading up to the draft in a very prospect-savvy league where basically if you come into that league, you have no shot at getting a top 100 prospect. because they're all rostered.
Yeah, there's 21 people in that league. How's that?
Yes.
Is it obviously it's not head to head. It has to be
No, it's
points.
Roto.
It's Roto.
It's a
Man,
Roto
that
league.
is insane.
And
Well, Heavy
it
T.
started. I think it's older than me.
Hey.
Yeah, by a year. So it's like
I'm not going to ask how old
OG.
you are, but yeah, we get it.
It started in '85.
Yes, I was
85.
born.
I wasn't even born yet.
I was born in 1985.
I still had 6 years before I was born.
I was born in '86.
Yeah, got the youngin. Okay, I think we need to share because I think we actually got Heavy T into NASCAR. I think we did our job.
Oh,
You should watch that Netflix one though.
I'll definitely check out the Netflix one. I will say I've been like 1 foot in, 1 foot out on NASCAR, not because I didn't like it, but like to carve out that time on a Saturday or a Sunday to watch the full race does get a little tricky. But the good thing is I do work at FanDuel on Saturdays or Sundays, so you know what I'm going to be doing at work? Watching the race. Kind of works out.
Go.
But before you do, you're going to get all your stuff from Matt Selz at Fantasy Alarm.
Yes.
So yeah, when you watch for actual like strategy during the race and like how they're calling pit stops and like when they make moves for tires and fuel and whatever, and realize it's not just dudes driving around in a oval for 3 hours, it gets a lot more interesting. Also,
was it Kyle Larson that ran out of gas last year? Who was the car that ran out of gas and had it? Yeah. Don't do that.
There's been at least one guy to run out of gas every year.
That's the most embarrassing way to lose a race, dude. That sucks.
Yeah. And then all of the pit crew guys are former D1 athletes.
No, Kansas is getting their ass kicked by Texas Tech right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know you're a Kansas State guy down here.
I am. I went there.
Yeah,
I'll just root for them.
59-43 with 6 minutes left in the and I did bet on Texas Tech, so I'm feeling really good about this.
I'll take it because K-State beat KU last Monday.
Mm-hmm. So I've been killing those college basketball nights. Anyways, we gotta go. The show's supposed to only be an hour, and now we're going on an hour 2, like old days, like last year. That was only a month and a half ago.
I'm old enough to remember when.
Yeah, I remember. I'm old enough to remember when we did 2 hours, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm seeing people slowly dissipate from the views. So
they're like, we gotta go. So
I'm calling it. It was a good show, though. We got to cure everyone's Super Bowl hangover. We got to talk NBA, UFC, obviously NASCAR, prospects, help Heavy T up in his Dynasty Baseball League, get him into NASCAR. Heavy T, obviously, at Heavy T on air on X, Twitter, Instagram. Are you working on your inept sports franchises articles?
I am going to probably start that this week and hopefully have it up by this upcoming Monday.
Perfect. Matt Selz, I don't want to go on a tangent because I want to leave everyone hanging, but he is, when it comes to inept sports franchises, Heavy T knows this stuff. If there was a award like you won for your racing writing for inept franchises, Heavy T would win that award.
I'm going to be honest. It has a lot of yelling and it might have some swearing. So
he is counting down.
The Rockies just have to win every year.
Right? Ooh, they should be in
the running.
Paying
somebody $50 million to not have Nolan Arenado play for you has got to be one of the worst moves ever.
I mean, look, if you want an idea of how my blogs usually go, when I was working in Houston, I was blogging for the radio station, and Jack Easterby was all over the Texans franchise. And I got on and I did a blog about him, and I compared him to the preacher in the third Purge movie that says "Purge and Purify" with a weird smile on his face. So that's about where these blogs go. We get real dark.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic, my fellow ranters. We will obviously post that when it's live and get it out to the world. And you should do little shorts and real videos, kind of highlighted and everything too.
I might. We'll see what we can come up with.
I'll have a lot of fun with. We get Thomas to edit it. We'll get him to do something besides just collect questions. I'm just kidding. Thomas Stevens, of course, Rants on the Street. He'll be back next week as well. Let's call it a day, gentlemen. Thank you guys so much. Matt Selz, it was always a pleasure, man. A good friend of the show. Check him out. Check out all his stuff at the Salesman, at Heavy T on air, on Instagram, on X. Not on Facebook though. We got to work on that.
I'm on Facebook. I'll be honest. I am on Facebook. I never use it, so just don't even bother.
That's where most of our viewers are, Heavy T. So if they're looking for you, then they have to, go to your old like high school picture on Facebook.
You know what? I don't. I couldn't even tell you what's my profile picture on Facebook right now. I have no idea.
We'll have to look that up. That'd be fun to show that next show. For myself, from Heavy T.
Like JJ Watt.
Yeah, right. With puka shells and the. Oh, we get another viewer. Let's stay on another hour. I'm kidding. From myself, from Heavy T, from Matt Selz, Fanslar, Better Sports Network, and Thomas Stevens. We hope you guys all feel better tomorrow from your Super Bowl hangover. And we'll see you next week. Monday Night Rants. Talking and having fun. Shout out to Taj McGowan. Shout out to Lotso. We'll see you next week.